The story of Adam and Eve in the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. He separated the light from the darkness, calling the light day and the darkness night. God went on to create the sky, the land, the seas, and all kinds of plants and trees. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars to light the earth and to separate the day from the night. He filled the seas with fish and the sky with birds. He created all sorts of animals to live on the land. Finally, on the sixth day, God created man. He formed Adam from the dust of the ground and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and Adam became a living being. The Garden of Eden. God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he placed Adam. The garden was a paradise, filled with every kind of tree that was pleasant to the sight and good for food. In the middle of the garden stood the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God commanded Adam, "You may freely eat of every tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for on the day you eat from it, you will surely die." God saw that it was not good for Adam to be alone, so he decided to make a suitable helper for him. He brought all the animals to Adam to see what he would name them, and whatever Adam called each living creature, that was its name. But among all the animals, no suitable helper was found. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. While he was sleeping, God took one of Adam's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of Adam, and he brought her to Adam. Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." The temptation and the fall. Adam and his wife Eve were both naked, and they felt no shame. They lived in harmony with God, with each other, and with all of creation. But the serpent, who was more crafty than any of the wild animals God had made, came to Eve and said, "Did God really say, 'You must not eat from any tree in the garden'?" Eve replied, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, 'You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die.'" "You will not surely die," the serpent said to Eve, "for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When Eve saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked, so they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Consequences and banishment. When they heard the sound of God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, Adam and Eve hid among the trees. But God called to Adam, "Where are you?" Adam answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" Adam blamed Eve, saying, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Eve blamed the serpent, saying, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." God then pronounced judgment. He cursed the serpent to crawl on its belly and eat dust all its life. He put enmity between the serpent and the woman, and between the serpent's offspring and hers. He told Eve that she would have pain in childbirth, and that her desire would be for her husband, who would rule over her. To Adam he said, "Because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." God made garments of skin for Adam and Eve and clothed them. Then he said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So God banished them from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which Adam had been taken. He placed cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. Thus, Adam and Eve began their lives outside the garden, bearing the consequences of their disobedience, but also carrying with them the hope of redemption that would one day come.